All right, thank you, counselors, for joining. Thank you, Counselor Allen, Counselor Govan, as part of the Finance Committee for joining, and Counselor Hurst. We will go ahead and start the Finance Subcommittee meeting. TJ, thank you for the documents you sent, even though we didn't have a lot of time to review them.
Yeah, it's been a crazy week, a busy couple of weeks, but we got you everything that does not include today's announcement.
Yeah, I just seen those. I do have questions about those too. But thank you nonetheless for the documents that you did share with us. Hold on, I'm just looking for them. I don't know if you wanted to go over them or.
So if I'm allowed to share, I'll try sharing my screen to put up so everyone can see. I know it was all sent to all counselors a little while ago.
Okay. Can you share now?
Yeah, it looks like I can share.
Okay.
Now I just gotta find the right one.
With today's announcements, do you have that total?
Total announcements for today was $1,010,000 for restaurants and $10 million for, we're calling special projects, but more the economic development projects.
Okay.
All right, let's see here. So, can you see this?
It says City Hall. Yep, can see it now.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the report. I guess we'll be ready to dive right in.
Sure.
So this is the report that shows the spending that we have as of 4/6/22. And I'll just kind of go down. It's, we have an we'll go across obligated. We have what is actually requisitioned in the system, which means it's being prepped. Encumbrances, meaning we have contracts generating, and then the actual spending, which means we've actually spent it in munis as total expended. So FY21 revenue to balance, to use the revenue for fiscal 21 as allowed under the ARPA final rule is just over 12 million. That's not anything new that's being discussed. Salary and wages, we do not have an overall budget yet. We're still staffing up and trying to determine how to allocate staff time. But the actual spent on salaries through munis is 112,842. The merit pay ticked up a little bit to the final number at this point of 6.2 million. That is because the school nurses and the tradesmen finally were paid out what they agreed upon based upon the rules that set forth in the merit pay. Professional services, that's for translation services and things like that. Actual spent or total committed is 8,652. Small business awards to date are 1.4 million. Nonprofit awards to date are 2.9 million. They're in various stages of contracting. Advertising, we've spent 24,000 and have obligated 25,000. And departmental projects is the buildings that we acquired, and then for 3 million and change. And then we have the build back that we've announced, and the Neighborhood Economic Recovery Fund for a total of 53.3 million obligated.
Any questions, counselors, on this? These are pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, no questions at this point for me. Thank you.
The other,
Hold on one second, TJ.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Oh, you good? Okay.
the other requested document was the award detail. And this is our running list based upon when we did the awards and their categories. The only new ones are for so far are the 329 awards, which is Howard Motors, City Cleaners, Final Touch Barbershop, Sirdu Boutiques, JDL Financial, Just Be, the Center After School Program, Inc., Hot Oven Cookies, and JLJ Construction. So that running tally is 4.2 million. awarded that does not include what was announced this afternoon.
What's EDC 413 works?
So EDC 413 works, actually, at least probably best to pull up the other request, which was the other request was the
Field Works.
memo one that tells kind of what the nonprofit ones are that we sent along to explain the latest round of nonprofit funding that I think for scope, Councilor Whitfield. So the EDC, actually refresh my memory for the 413 works. I don't know if that's the anchor project that they're doing or if that's the other project that EDC is doing.
I think it's lumped up at the top with Springfield works.
Yeah, so it's 413 works by the EDC.
Oh, EDC, okay.
I want to say it's the anchor project where they're trying to build databases and connect contractors with city services or city contracts that they can go after. For that one, let me just take a look at the other one. Sorry if it's making you dizzy.
And what does within the QCT mean?
Qualified census tract is what that means.
Oh, okay.
So I'll have to pull up the more detailed scopes that, one of them is the Anchorage project, the Anchor project that is trying to match up women and minority owned businesses with contracted opportunities in Western Massachusetts. They think they can enhance the economic benefit for all these organizations by building databases and ways to find opportunities to connect.
Okay. Can you scroll down a little bit, TJ? Pioneer Valley Riverfront Club. West Street, where's West Street?
That is the riverfront where they do their rowing and the stuff of the riverfront club up in the north end. They submitted an application for lost revenue and ability to keep them in service and to contract with our schools to get our students to be acclimated or shown, what rowing's all about. So that's what that is.
Okay, can you go to today's announcement?
Today, let me stop the share. Share again, and today, I'll start with the restaurants, or you want to start with the special projects?
Special project.
So here is today's announcements that happened at the press conference that happened a little while ago. I wasn't at it, but I heard it was very well attended and very well received. So today they announced the lot report.
Okay. Okay, go ahead, TJ.
So today, the mayor and the ARPA team announced larger awards for some of the bigger projects that are happening. One is the La Quinta to become an extended stay. They needed more money than this, but our thought process is we can provide seed money and get them to come to us when they have conceptual design and release the funds. We're hoping the state will be partners for virtually all of these. So they're looking to do extended stay. Springfield Boys and Girls Club, we're looking to give them $1.5 million out of their ongoing program needs and what they're trying to do with the pool and what they're trying to do with the outdoor track, basketball courts, all that stuff. The Revival Time Evangelist Center, the J.C. Williams Community Center. I know this is $1.6 million towards that project that's been discussed for a while now, from my understanding.
Mm-hmm.
New North Citizens Council is looking to do the community center in New North, and
Is this the one where the building, the old school was, that same project, or is this a different one?
That's the part where I know Tim Sheehan has a lot better grasp on this because it came out of his shop, but the idea is, I guess they lost their community center and they lost a lot of services, so they're gonna be looking to build a new community center and then also have a medical like piece to it, so that it can bring it back to the tax rolls.
But do you know if it's where the old Chestnut School was?
It would be
That's
that,
the project? Okay. This is the one that's killing me right here.
big Y.
Yes, the
So-
full grocery store downtown, and the Mason Square neighborhood has been asking for a full service grocery store for probably like since I worked for the city of Springfield.
Yeah, and I understand, and I don't work for the economic development department, that it is not from a lack of trying for getting one in the Mason Square, that is the desire for everybody. We're just trying to find, and maybe ARPA is the route to take for a grocery store to do exactly that, apply. Because my understanding for this, that in order to make the investment in opening a grocery store downtown, it'll take a public commitment of $1 million to make it so the math works for Big Y. And if there's other grocery stores out there that want to follow that same model, that if there's some seed money that can take, I would love for them to talk to us.
Well, I want to have a meeting with Big Y to see exactly what they plan on doing and with the money, and I'll invite Tim and because I know Big Y was contacted as one of the full service grocery stores that Mason Square contacted. TJ, do you know exactly where they are planning to
Old CVC Power Square is what I was told.
Power Square? Yeah. Okay. Counselor Govan?
Thank you very much, Council Whitfield. That bothers me too, for the exact same reason, Council Whitfield, because I was actually involved in 2011, 2010, when we were working very hard to bring a full-line grocery store up to Mason Square. And the reason Big Y said that they couldn't put one there is because there wasn't enough customers, I guess, basically what it boiled down to. And now they're gonna put one in Tower Square. There are more residents in Mason Square than there are downtown, I would think. Downtown, you know, business district, people come and go. That's very disheartening to me that they're
Yeah.
putting one downtown instead of Mason Square. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Counselor. We got to look outside of downtown, like we got a whole city
Yes,
that needs
yes.
improvements. And it's like, because even with New North Citizens Council, that's still downtown area. And everything, Worthington Street development, downtown, once again, like, when are we going to expand outside of the downtown area of the city of Springfield?
Our goal is to expand and do the projects. That's right. We have no issue moving outside downtown. There's no problem. Happy to do whatever. I know that we'll be doing some more announcements in weeks or so, maybe a month. And we're working diligently. I know the restaurant ones are spread throughout the city that we awarded today. So we're working diligently and we're pushing out. Today, we also announced that we're setting aside 1.8 million for each of the citizens councils, civic associations to have access to for projects within their own community. And that's aside for the associations to reach out and say, okay, here's what we want to do. And either we give the money or we do the service, however, but depending what it is something that we want to make sure that we have rolled out as well to get, to touch all the neighborhoods.
So, TJ, the 2.5 for New North Citizens Council, they're getting 1.8 in addition to that 2.5?
No, they're getting.
They are the Citizens Council.
100,000 for neighborhood projects. So it's not for them, it's for them to do stuff on behalf of the neighborhood.
So if they said us building this community center is for the neighborhood, so we're just gonna put the additional 1.8 toward that, would that qualify?
I wouldn't allow it because that's not the intent. The intent is for the neighborhood associations or civic associations to come to us and say, hey, look, we really wanna redo this, whatever, like triangle, or we want to upgrade the fountain or whatever, you know, something that's been a want that's been out there for, you know, years that may never have gotten.
Okay, I have more questions, but I'll defer to Counselor Allen.
For right now, Madam Chair?
Yes, please.
Okay, thanks. It's good that this money is getting out there, and you know, I guess we could talk about what's really downtown and what's really not downtown. But I look at you know, New North and the J.C. Williams Community Center. I drive down Florence Street all the time, and I never see any activity there. I've always wondered what the deal is with that place, and in terms of like when is it used and what is it used for? And the Boys and Girls Club and crew.
Are you talking about Revival Time, the J.C. Williams Center? Because they have a whole after-school program, so you must not go at the right time because they have a lot of programs that run out of there.
There's got to be. Yeah, I guess I'm not at the right time because I've always wondered whoever developed that, was it privately developed? And at any rate, I'm with the new change of you know, the road system around Brookings School, etc. I, instead of going up Central Street from Rifle Street, which used to be the way I would go, now I go over Florence Street. So I drive by that place all the time, and I'm glad to see him getting money. I mustn't be driving at the right time. So that's good that there's money there. In terms of this stuff, TJ, did the applicant, does this represent the applicant? These organizations applied, like Big Y applied or J.C. Williams applied?
Yes, they have submitted an application saying, I want to say the Revival, the J.C. Williams Center, I want to say it's 6.8 million is their need, and we couldn't fund it at that level, knowing the state has access to a lot of money. So we're hopeful that this is kind of a good commitment to getting them well on their way to their funding, their capital needs, or the capital campaign, excuse me, for that.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, other community centers in the Mason Square neighborhood, you know, Boys and Girls Club, Family Center, Martin Luther King, Dunbar. I don't know if they're on the list or if they've applied, but it's good to see J.C. Williams getting accepted. That's great. I guess when Big Y applied, I guess the implications they applied, I, like Zyda, was involved in the attempt to get a supermarket behind, you know, where Burger King is, which is now the chicken place. I can't think of the name of it. And, you know, that went on and on and on for years. Developed. Springfield was involved. Jay Minkara, that used to run that place. We brought up supermarket experts from running supermarkets in, you know, urban areas kind of thing. It just, I think Big Y, I don't know. I wasn't on the main team, but I was involved in the Food Policy Council and other kind of associated initiatives like the Mason Square Health Initiative with Wanda and stuff. I was in a million meetings on that thing. And, you know, it's too bad it never took shape. I don't know if they tried to apply to get it in Mason Square or not knowing that, but I'm glad to see some initiative to get a better grocery store than what is now available to people somewhere in the city. I don't know if there's flexibility on location, or they already have a location. Is when you say Tower Square, is that
I think it's pretty locked in for Tower Square. I mean, but I hear everyone on the Zoom right now, and if Tim, we want to get a meeting together with Tim Sheen and myself and others to dust off those conversations. I mean, maybe this is the time because we actually have resources available to kind of put a project over the top. And if it's not Big Y, then let's get a competitor in here that might want to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the good news is that there's some money for something to bring better food to the downtown or State Street area. And let's see if there's an opening, you know, to talk about more about that one and see what possibilities there are. This is better than anything I saw back at that time because people were concerned about its viability at the time. And that's why it never never materialized. So that's good. I just think that's good to hear a recognition of the need for that. Okay, that's it, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Counselor. Yeah, Revival Time is a church, so they actually meet every Sunday too. But you could call them and they could tell you about their programs, because I know.
Yeah, so is Revival Time, I know there used to be outdoor kind of things in the parking lot next to J.C. Williams, like, in the summertime, but is that place, so that same building is also the Revival Time Church?
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right, thank you.
You're welcome. Counselor Govan?
I just had a question regarding the Boys and Girls Club. Is that the one on Carew Street, or is that for the both Boys and Girls Club on Acorn Street and Carew?
This is the one on Carew Street. We actually, I haven't seen yet an application from the other Boys and Girls Club that we're anticipating that one will is forthcoming, and it actually may already be in, I just haven't seen it.
Yeah, he submitted it 2 weeks ago, TJ, so that's probably why you haven't seen it yet.
I haven't filtered through the process to get to me yet, so that's good to hear, because we're gonna wanna do another round of nonprofits and another round small and new business, and we're working feverishly towards figuring out the seniors. We had a great over 100 seniors attend the technical assistance on Monday to learn what's available, and it was a tremendous success, and now we just got to that success.
Yeah, so speaking of that, TJ, I'm sorry, Counselor, just because I wanted to mention the seniors, so that was great, but they were confused on the application because it said check the box if you're 60 and over, and then it says check the box if you're 60 to 80 or something like that. But I guess both of the applications say the same thing, so they were like confused.
I'll double check. We're gonna try to. We keep enhancing our program and our documents as we get more feedback. We'll do that as well.
Yeah, I think it's just like a clerical error on the form where it says like check their age group.
Yeah, and on the household one, it only says 60 to 80 or something like that.
Yeah.
So it doesn't say under 60. I'm sorry, Madam Chair, if I had one more question, actually it tied into this. So I just heard TJ say that they're in the process of working on the seniors. I know that we had our Indian Orchard Citizens Council had an ARPA meeting for household and seniors, and they're in the process of getting ready to submit their applications. We had, I think, 2 or 3 seniors that already submitted their applications. When do you think they'll be hearing back?
So what we're trying to figure out, so there are two ways we're looking at seniors and households. Well, first of all, some of the applications, so we're looking at direct cash assistance, potentially up to $1,000 for those that qualify. And we're trying to figure that out. And we're also looking for an application, say for a handicap accessible ramp or some work that might need to be done in the house, or if that's the case, we'll refer to the housing program. So we're still trying to refine kind of the process, because the requests run the gamut from, just a little bit of cash to help, make ends meet, to I need $75,000 to, rebuild my roof in my porch. So we're trying to figure out that and still trying to manage expectations to a degree. So I don't have an answer exactly when, but that is kind of our next major goal, is to get final guidance. And what we're also trying to do is make sure that if we provide some sort of cash assistance, that it's pandemic benefit, it's not taxable. So we actually are reaching out to a tax attorney to guide us, to make sure we're not screwing somebody over tax-wise unknowingly.
Right.
It's just taking a little longer than we wanted.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I guess the confusion on the applications is it says 60 and over on the senior, TJ, and then 60 and under on the regular households. So 60-year-olds don't know which application to use. I guess that's what the confusion is.
I'll look at that.
Okay. Any other questions on these particular applicants from council?
No questions for me.
Last one,
Counselor Hurst?
Neither. Thank you.
Thank you.
Counselor
I guess I had some general questions. Do we have an idea as to is now the time, or did you want me to wait, Councilor Whitfield?
No, go ahead.
Seniors, do we have an idea or numbers? Did you send that, TJ, in terms of how many folks have applied? It seems to me that we haven't awarded any of them
Yeah, so
money.
Counselor, so right, well, as of 3/26, 24 seniors applied, but is that after Monday's event, like, we probably got 60 or 70 more applications, so.
So
60 or 70 or 6 or 7?
Like a
Oh,
lot.
60, yeah.
so you walk folks through exactly how to fill them out. Is that accurate?
That's accurate. We've had breakout sessions to walk through and answer questions, and then we've trained senior center staff on how to help and assist with applications.
How long was that session?
How long was the session?
Yeah, how long was it?
I think it went 2 hours, 15 minutes, I think is what it was. I think I wasn't at it, but I got a call and it was done around 12:15 or so, and it started at 10. So, and they were gonna stay as long as it took to answer every question.
Sorry, Counselor.
So that's all right. So is that the new protocol, TJ? I mean, are we at the point where we can just send folks to the Raymond Jordan Senior Center or any of the senior centers to get assistance in terms of actually filling out the application?
I can't answer that. That is where we're going. I gotta have to double check with Sandy Federico that we are fully ready for that, but that is where we're going.
Okay. And are we doing the same, what is the approach that we're going to use for households, and how many of those applications do you have?
Similar, there are a number of organizations. We're reaching out to a number of organizations that can try to assist the households submit the applications. We're also looking to move them into an electronic format because we're running into a lot of just the paper-based process is not helpful. And by that, I mean, sometimes you can't read if it's an underscore or a dash or something on an email, and then we can't get in touch with the folks. Or, so we're just trying to do it where they can type it in and figure out ways to assist that. But we're working on having organizations within the community assist and train them on how to do it. And that's kind of the similar model we're going with.
Got it. So right now we have awarded 0 household and 0 seniors. That is correct?
That's correct. And we've actually are telling them, per Council Whitfield's request, to manage expectations that, hey, it could be a couple of months. We still got to work through some issues because, as you would imagine, those run the gamut from mold remediation in someone's house to building, a $25,000 roof. We have a program that exists already through the housing department, and we might just put money into that. So we're still working through some of the details on. Then we're also talking about households, for qualifying households doing another kind of cash, max cash kind of benefit, just to kind of assist with whether it's utilities, rental. We're talking about providing additional resources to wayfinders for mortgage assistance, rental assistance, utility assistance. So we're really trying to get the biggest bang for our dollars and get it out to the folks that need it.
So I appreciate that, TJ. And I guess I would just say that, we recently put forth a proposal for free transportation. A number of councilors have. And I know you said it would, or certainly you were quoted as saying that it would take away from households and take away from seniors. And I think for me personally, one of the ways in which we can impact seniors and households immediately is through providing them with free transportation, which other cities and towns, or cities in the Commonwealth certainly have done already. And so my hope is that since this process is taking so long, and at the end of the day, we're going to touch nowhere near the numbers that we probably should be touching, and especially those that were disproportionately impacted by COVID, that we might at the very least think about how to have an instantaneous impact now. And, I know it can be done. And I know there are a lot of folks that would benefit greatly from having this, from having this break now, as opposed to having to apply. And these are probably the same people that are not going to apply, TJ. And so, I also know that Tim said that you can't use this money, or not Tim, I'm sorry, the mayor. The mayor said that you can't use this money from ARPA, or he doesn't think you can use it. And I'm sure you've done your due diligence, TJ, and you know that it can be used for something like transportation, which other cities have done. So my hope is that you'll look into it. Councilor Whitfield, if you'll just give me one more second.
Yeah, sure.
3 questions from the public that I was asked. There is no time. I'm sorry. Did you have a response to that, TJ?
I did a small response and say, well, first of all, we're looking into it. We did have internal conversations when you released the concept about the compliance piece, and I don't have an answer for that yet. I think that's what may have been commented on by Tim Sheehan or the mayor. I can't remember which one it was, saying that there could be a compliance side only because, anyone that gets on the bus, wherever they're from, it's, is it someone that's not qualified to be getting the benefit? I don't have an answer to that. I have not done my digging in due diligence. My comment really came into, I think you said you wanted free forever, and that is where I commented that it's unsustainable based upon that. I can still look at whether a pilot is done. I know Boston's doing a pilot. I know Quincy's putting is not. I read an article that Quincy's kind of like dipping their toe in it a little bit, but not really full throated wanting to do free bus routes for their community. Yeah. So
yeah, I would look at Boston, I would look at Worcester, I would look at Lawrence. All of them have done it, I believe, and if not all of them, most of them have done it using ARPA funds, and they figured out a way to do it. And certainly their mayor is doing it with the intentions on making it permanent. And so I would just argue that if you want to do it, you can do it. If you don't want to make it permanent, that's on you. But it's not that we can't do it. It's just that we're choosing not to do it. And then the other thing I would say is that, if at worst case scenario, we do a pilot, then, I think a lot of folks would be excited about that and would benefit tremendously, especially during times like that. So not to spend too much more time, because I do want to answer I want to get the questions of some of my constituents answered. What's the time frame in terms of the money, TJ, in terms of the actual distribution of the money? So folks have just gotten awarded in the last phase. What can they anticipate?
So our contracts typically say 50% upon execution of the contract. So what they do is they come in, we finalize the terms and conditions, the scope for what they're going to be using the money for based on the application. And we have in the contract, I believe it's 25 days upon the last the mayors to get them the first check. And then
I'm sorry, so you said 25 days upon what?
25 days after the last signature on the contract to get the first check to the 50% check to those that have been awarded.
Okay, and so they get a 50% check, and then how long does it take to get all of the signatures? How long does it take for you guys to meet? It was a week to 2 weeks, or?
Usually not that long. We try to do well. I guess it really depends on making sure that we have all the contractual documents that, based upon the award, that says here's like all the profit and loss statements if that's required for the business. If it's some of the other documents. Once we have that, and then we're satisfied that the term contract's ready to go, signatures only takes a couple of days. Normally we have the vendor come in, sign it, and then we have Tim Sheehan come sign it, and then it goes to the law department, comptroller, and the mayor, and that all can happen within days.
Days, okay. And then they get 50%, and then once they show that they've successfully completed 50% of their agreement, then they get the final 50%? Is that typically how it works?
That's how it worked conceptually. I actually just was asked a question today about the first round that happened in February. And I have the compliance folks that we just hired starting to look at that now.
Okay, and then there is no deadline, right? Folks can continue to apply?
Continue to apply, going, the only deadline is 2024 for award, 2026 for expended.
And then the last question, sorry, Councilor Whitfield, no, no liens on houses or anything like that, right? This is a grant, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
So as long
That's
as
what
the conditions of the grant, it's forgiven.
That's what I thought. Okay, sorry to take, as long as they meet the conditions of the grant, meaning the terms.
Yeah, the terms and the conditions of the contract that we've entered in with the vendor or the recipient.
Got it. Sorry to take so long, Councilor Whitfield. Thank you, Madam Chair.
So, the deadline, thank you, Counselor. The deadline for applications is December 31st, 2024, right? All the funds have to be encumbered by then? TJ?
Yes, they have to be encumbered by then and spent by 2026.
2026, okay. So as far as the transportation goes, can you let us know why? You all said that was not a feasible plan?
Yeah, I'll look into it further.
Okay, so what I would like to do, TJ, is have a meeting on that and the economic development piece on how Tim Sheehan is choosing these companies in these locations. Specifically, I'm gonna ask that Big Y come to the table and talk about its location selections. I will really be interested to know why they would pick a location downtown over the Mason Square area. So I will set up those.
I'll let those that know economics of grocery stores better than me answer those questions.
Yeah. All right. So how much time you think you need, TJ, for the PVTA information?
Well, this was a pretty brutal week. I think we got pension obligations next Monday. If you're okay with pushing it out to the following Monday, or
Yeah, no, I'm not doing anything else this Monday. I'm only doing this Monday because of y'all request. So
I'll give it up Monday, but we got to move fast if we're going to end up doing it. But we got to do I got to prove my due diligence to the city council. So
yeah, so if we just do it in the next 2-week meeting for the ARPA funds, would that be enough time for you? Because I know you're doing budget too.
yeah, it's right now everything's hitting me at once, and it's not fun. But
Sorry about that. That's how budget season goes.
that's just life, right?
Yeah. So we'll definitely go ahead and look to schedule for more information on that.
Great. So the only thing I have to share, if you want to see it, would be the 12 or so restaurants. 14 restaurants that we just awarded to today that I think I heard went really well for those restaurants that.
Can you pull that list up?
Yeah. All right, so here is the list of restaurants and the awards that have gone out today. I wasn't at the press conference, but I think I just saw Melvin Evers jump on. I heard he was, and I heard it was good feedback and a lot of happy faces and people there. So this was a targeted restaurant one that that we wanted to do because we had a lot of restaurants that were submitting. We have a lot more that is still submitted in assistance. But we're happy with the cross-section of restaurants that we were able to award to. So I'll scroll through, you guys can take a peek at it. You guys may know all of them or some of them, but we had a lot of happy people today.
Yeah. I wanted just to put on your list, TJ, if you could add another population that really struggled during the pandemic, and that's the barbershops and beauty salons. Like, that's their lifeline, and they also, like restaurants, suffered a lot. And I hear from them quite often, and they would probably need a workshop similar to what you did for the senior center, because a lot of them are not like grant writers.
So, yeah, funny you say that, because actually Chase One and I had that conversation just yesterday, saying that after we awarded to a couple of these barbershops and hair salon, beauty salons, that we really should do a targeted one, because I think we have a number of applications across the city for a lot of them. So I think that would be a smart one to do.
All right. Counselor Edwards joined us. Counselor, was there something specific you wanted to ask? Because if not, we're gonna adjourn the meeting soon.
No, I have nothing to ask. I apologize. I thought it was 4:45. I guess I came in a little late.
Yeah, it's usually 4:45. I had to change it because I have a 5 o'clock today. So it did start at 4 today.
But thank you.
Okay, sorry about that. Any other questions or comments from counselors?
I just have one. Could you, I can't see the bottom of the screen share, like I got as far as just read the restaurants underneath after Hummingbird.
Let me share again. I apologize.
It's all right. I just want to hear the names.
All right, so after Hummingbird, we have Fiera's Bakery, we have Petra Cafe, we have Bumpy's Organic Foods, City Jake's, Timoteo's Grill, Russ's Restaurant, and the Boulevard.
Boulevard's over on Page Boulevard. What was the one right after Bumpy's?
City Jake's down here on Main Street.
Oh yeah, I got City Jake's. Okay.
Where is Russ's?
And Russ's, is that over next to the city line?
That's an excellent question. I can get it for you.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I know where Russ's is. I didn't know they had applied and.
Yes,
and,
next to Chicopee line, Springfield
Yeah.
Street.
Yeah.
But it's still in Springfield? 'Cause I
Yes, it's
saw it-
Springfield.
It's in
It's Springfield.
Springfield, yeah. It's in Springfield. It's at, it's right at that little roundabout when you come up from Bay State and you're going towards Elms College. It's at that roundabout.
Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Govan?
I just wanted to, I guess, reiterate getting, because I know that the mayor said that he's not going to announce the individuals and the seniors or anybody that gets the money. He'll just announce 30 seniors got this much money. But I know that our residents are watching, right? All these restaurants, businesses get this money, which is great. But it would just be good if we could announce that individual residents got some money because, this is supposed to be benefiting them specifically. And I know it's benefiting the businesses, which is great. It's benefiting the nonprofits, which is great. I just really hope that we can one day soon, very soon, announce that our seniors and our regular health residents are getting some of this money. Thank you.
So, yeah, so our goal, our focus right now is seniors and households, try to figure out, my only slow walking it is making sure it doesn't, impact people's taxes, tax status. And that's what we're looking at. And that's kind of why I think we've figured out the process by which to pay benefit assistance, but I just need to make sure that I don't have unintended consequences as it relates to that.
Yeah, I agree with Counselor Govan because restaurants got rounds and rounds of funding throughout COVID, and there wasn't that type of relief for residents that are not restaurants. We didn't have that type of relief for regular residents to just apply for anything really. So I definitely agree that we're happy restaurants are getting it, but we want to see other target populations also benefit from ARPA funds. So
This
thank you for saying that, Councilor Goldman.
has been one of the biggest challenges of my career is trying to get it up and running and get the money out the door. So I'd like to say we're doing better than most communities so far, but it has been a Herculean.
Well, we appreciate all your hard work, definitely getting the money out. We're glad that we see such large amounts now, so we definitely appreciate that.
Yes.
Councilor Hurst?
Yeah, just quickly, is Attorney Moore still working with the ARPA funding?
He is, as of now, still working for the ARPA office.
Okay, is the objective that he goes back into the law department or no?
That
Why did I felt like I heard that.
Yeah, you did hear that in the law department's budget hearing. That
Oh, okay.
he is looking to go
That's what I
back
heard.
to get back to the more of the legal work and the law stuff. I don't know if that's final decision yet or if it's when it's
Okay,
happening, but
got it.
talk to him as well.
And then will he be replaced or will your department just take over that responsibility?
He will be replaced with someone dedicated. This is way too important not to have a dedicated person to it.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Any other questions from councilors?
Nope.
I'm all set, thank you.
Well, TJ, thanks for your time. Thanks for your hard work, getting the information and getting the money out the door. We're just really anxious to see it go to the residents and the seniors in the city of Springfield. And hopefully you can have more of those like 2.5, 15-minute sessions for like even just regular households. I know that I have a lot of young people, especially like single parents that missed like some of the daycare opportunities that they could have had, and now they can't get vouchers. And then there was that year gap time. One moment, Counselor. There was that year gap time where like if you go back to work, I think they could get a voucher for a year. And some of them missed it because there was no daycares open at the time, not because they weren't working or they couldn't get the voucher. And so I know that they don't really know what to do with the application process as well. So that might be another target population, especially like single moms that now have to pay for daycare because they couldn't get that. They couldn't get that year savings.
Just a quick teaser on that front is that, yeah, we do want to focus on that area industry as well. Because we know there are major gaps in birth to 5, early childhood education, daycare, all those things. We know single moms, single parents, single families need to have access to it. So I have convened and started to chair a working group on trying to address all the early educational needs in the community, and that is a huge portion is the home care and the daycares that are out there that are run out of the homes, because not everyone's going to be a big daycare. And then what we're going to try to do is match up the need of the family to the program with the vouchers and all that stuff. So that is going to be a big lift, but I have actively engaged all the stakeholders and the providers. I did not have the home providers there, which is something I need to do to get them to the table, to hear from them. So I'm actively working on a huge program ask to the federal government, to the state. It's something that if we do it right, it could be transformational.
Yeah. Counselor?
That reminded Chairwoman Whitfield that we actually in Indian Orchard had an ARPA informational session, and a lot of the residents came out and a lot of seniors came out, and we actually helped them to fill out the applications. So I'm just wondering if TJ, at any time you guys need any help, or if you could help us do that again, that would be great, because they're asking for more sessions and they're asking for them in Pine Point. And I'm focused in Ward 8, of course, but I'd be happy to, help out in other areas if needed. So
the good news is we have additional staff that are started. One started this week, another one starts next week, and I'm putting together an offer letter for a third one. We'll be able to have a team that can kind of start doing train the trainer kind of sessions and stuff, so. We're excited about that. We just gotta get them in the door and trained. It's been a heck of a time hiring. I think if anyone, and that's hard to fill positions these days. I don't know why or how, but I'm getting 1 or 2 applicants if I'm lucky.
Can
Yeah.
trainers be contractors or stipend, instead of like going through the whole employment process?
I have no problem. It's gonna be folks that I get out in the community that can help us be force multipliers. I don't have a problem.
That's great, because Counselor Hurst and I had probably one of the first informational sessions, or we put it out and then you guys copied us, but and at that time, the mayor wasn't allowing your department to attend our informational session, so we missed a whole group of people that was definitely probably like over 35, 40 people that were definitely interested in getting ARPA funds. So I think if we go to the neighborhoods and the communities and we got folks like Counselor Govan or others that are willing to like help or get folks to help, I think that would be a great win for the city.
Mhm.
The only issue with that is if they end up doing work for us, they would get a 1099 and, they get paid or whatever, we could figure that out, but they'd be a vendor for the city and they'll just have tax implications because they'll be self-employed, but.
Schedule C, your tax person can help them.
Yeah, of course. And I was just gonna say, I have time right now because, I have the time, but, later on I might not.
Yeah, and yours would be volunteer, Counselor.
Yeah, no,
Counselor Hurst.
Just really quickly, have we put any thought into investing in organizations within the community to provide these type of services?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Number of that, I believe was Valley Venture Mentors, the Latino Chamber of Commerce, BECMA, they're submitting an application to help. Trying to draw a blank, there's probably 2 or 3 others that are trying to do all the same thing.
Thank you.
And I'll take any organizations that can come in and want to help and be, like I said, the force multiplier. We'll definitely, that should be my next round anyway. So.
Yeah. Any other questions, Counselor?
I'm all set,
That's it.
thank you.
All right, so I guess everyone asked everything that we had, TJ, so thank you again for your hard work, and the more we can get out to the everyday people, the better, because they still do really, really, really need the relief, so definitely appreciate your hard work. I know it's budget time, and I know personally how hard that is too in itself, so thanks for all the hard work, and we will see you the next time.
thank you, DJ. Thank
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, counselors, for joining.
Thank
All
you as well. Thank you.